This episode is brought to you by FX's feud, Capote versus the Swans. Inspired by actual events, the series tells the story of Truman Capote and the women he betrayed. The original housewives. They were society's most elite women. Rich, glamorous socialites who defined a bygone era of high society New York. From creator Ryan Murphy, this drama series features an all-star cast, including Naomi Watts, Demi Moore, and Diane Lane. FX's feud premieres January 31st on FX Stream on Hulu.
Let's try to have no regrets. Hello, everyone. I'm Anita Joyce here with Kelly Wilkness, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks, episode 420, Decor Trends You May Regret. And we do not want to have any regrets.
No, hashtag no regrets. You guys love any sort of trend, and we thought this would be really fun and lighthearted. Now, if you have any of these things in your home currently, enjoy them. And we blessed you, and we want you to enjoy them for the rest of your life. But these are just things that have been bubbling on the surface of the trends. And, maybe in 4 or 5 years, when people get itchy to change things up, they might not be long lasting. That's not to say that you may not love them forever. So, if you do have one or two of these things in your house, don't be offended.
Well, and I guess I want to just say, this is not a shaming episode. If you have,
do we have shaming episodes?
I'm not saying we do, but I'm just saying I don't want you to feel shamed.
I know.
If we're not trying to make fun of anybody, or if you have listen, we've done it all. We've bought all the stuff that then went out later on. So,
right, and this is also based on our Google mastering research. It's not necessarily a list that we just came up with out of the top of our heads. So this is what other designers and trend watchers and foreseers are predicting may happen in the nearish future. Some of these items, and you know what? It's a lighthearted, fun episode, and should be taken that way. But I just want to say, like, for example, we've talked before about the color red. There's nothing wrong with the color red, and some people that's their favorite color. So if you want red in your house, then put it in there. I mean, so it's not really hot right now, but that doesn't mean you can't have it in your house, or there's anything wrong with that. So I just want to give that caveat before we start. Yes. And before we start, we thought we'd just give you a little update on what's going on in our homes. We used to do full-on episodes like that, but we just thought we'd give you.
We're too boring now.
Yeah,
is that what you're
No, it's fun to sort of add it in and keep you up to date rather than like waiting a long time and saying, "Oh, look what I did from here's the before and here's the after." So we'll just gonna maybe add in every few episodes a little something about what's going on in our houses. So what's going on in your house, Anita?
Well, we've been stuck at home for quite a while now. And Evie and I, me and a few million people have been stuck at home. So Evie and I walked to the store the other day. Down the street.
Get out of here.
Left the
stay in
house.
here. What did you do? Where did you go?
We went. Well, my favorite antique store, and you've said the name the other day, it's the Heights Antiques on Yale. It's walking distance from my house, and that's my favorite store to shop at here in the Heights in Houston. So we walked over there, and I talked to the owner, Christy, who's just always a delight to chat with. And I really, at the last minute, just threw my credit card in my pocket. I really didn't plan to use it, but you never know.
You didn't.
And
you didn't plan to use it. Just at the last minute.
I really did.
I thought I'd bring some currency in case. And I love that antique store is an essential business. And good for Christy. I'm glad she's open.
Yeah, so I found, I have this love of purple dishes and French things. And I had bought some, a year ago, and there were some really pretty French antique dishes that are purple that I'd seen online, but I just thought, these are way too expensive. I'm not buying them, because if you buy them, they're always in France, and then the shipping just doubles the price, basically, once you have it shipped. So here were these. So I just thought I'm not even going to get them. Well, here was a set of 11 of these dishes, and I'll have to put the name of them in the show notes because I can't pronounce it. But it's an antique French brand from these are probably like 150 years old, something
How
like that.
mad was the original owner when somebody broke the number 12?
I don't know. That's right. There were just 11, but there were 11.
Right.
And for the less than the price that I could have 2 of these shipped from France.
Yeah, and you're supporting a local business. Way to go, Anita.
So, hey, yeah, anyway, they're beautiful. I don't like using them to actually eat off of, because you don't know about lead, but they sure are beautiful, and I'll be using them for sure somewhere. So how about you? That was my big excitement. That and my bread that I mentioned in the last episode, it came out so beautifully. I was just so excited to have that beautiful bread. Anyway, those are my 2 exciting things that happened. How about you?
I left my house and went someplace too, but I didn't go in. Yeah, I didn't go in any other place, but I have a client on the other side of town, and they moved to the Palisades, which is a really beautiful part of Southern California on the west side. So I drove over the other day because I'm helping them with their garden, and I was followed by my trusty helper and with all the plants in his truck and all this good compost. And I had my mask and my visor and my sunglasses and my sunblock. And he and I were far apart, but we worked in their front yard and planted all these beautiful flowers in front of their newly painted white picket fence and there was just a lot of random plants, and we took them out and we found other homes for some of them, and it looked so beautiful. And their home is a traditional home, and it's a very classic older neighborhood. But when you look down the end of the street, there is the Pacific Ocean. Like not like you could go walk on the sand. It's over Pacific Coast Highway, but you can see it, and you can just see this just endless expanse of water. And so all day long, while we were there for 8 hours, while we were designing and planting and digging holes and filling them with water and putting in, the special compost and my secret recipes for the plant roots and all of this, every time I'd look up, I would see the ocean. It was so wonderful to see the ocean. And so I had the loveliest day. And so that was exciting. And there was no risk of getting close to anybody. It was all good. And then on the home front, I'll mention it again, but again, until I've done it for a little bit longer, I don't want to give a lot of feedback. But my daughter and I decided to try a paleo diet. She had been wanting to do that, and she thought, it's going to be hard. And I said, I don't know why I said it. It was just on a whim to be supportive. I'll do it with you. And so we've been chopping and peeling and lots of veggies and turmeric, which I will just give you. Turmeric is like the hot spice these days. It's in everything. I guess cilantro had its moment, and now turmeric is having its moment. But
cilantro is just always in style.
It is always in style.
It's not a trend.
But it did have a big moment not too long ago.
Yeah.
But turmeric dyes everything from your cutting board, your hands.
Yes.
And then when we ate the meal,
yellow.
All of the napkins. Remember, we were recently talking about the cloth napkins? Well, there's nothing that's going to get this out.
Isn't that called the poor man's saffron too?
Probably is, because that's the color it looks like when it gets on something. So anyway, that's the update.
But it is supposed to be very healthy.
It is supposed to be very healthy. So,
well, speaking of that, I was buying all these flours for my gluten-free flour, oat flour and Tef
yes, we
flour.
have so many flours now. It's ridiculous.
And I bought some. Yeah. So when I make my gluten-free flour, it has all these whole, all the oat and all these other flours in there. I meant to buy, I should say, some sorghum flour. But when I got and this is when we were just buying everything on Amazon, we couldn't leave the house. So I didn't realize my error until I got these massive amounts of sorghum that was not flour. And I thought, well, I'll just put it in my food processor and grind it up into flour. No. It does not grind.
What is sorghum?
And so, well, I didn't know, but apparently it's a grain that they eat in Africa and India. So I thought, well, I'm stuck with these because that's just too much trouble to return. And I thought, well, I'm just praying this stuff tastes good. So I boiled it up and made great, because we've been eating a lot of Buddha bowls, bowls with lots of veggies and things, and quinoa. It's actually quite good, and it kind of has a flavor like hominy.
Oh.
So you might try that in your paleo diet. It was pretty good.
Then you could plant some out at the farm, and you could have a whole field of it.
Yes, that sounds great. But anyway, so it turned out to be a happy accident. So
that's good.
I'm always happy when that happens. Ugh.
Okay.
Well, how fun. Well, you'll have to let us know.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'm feeling really good, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but we'll see. Hey, and I wanted to let everyone know we have 2 and probably more by the time this episode comes out, really interesting, inspiring, and incredible women that we're going to be sharing with you as special guests on Decorating Tips and Tricks. We did that one interview a bit ago with Amy Azarita, who had written that really wonderful book, and we got a great response. People loved hearing another voice and somebody who had, created something and had an interesting backstory. So we decided we'd try it again, especially during this time. It's just nice to be introduced to other interesting women. Maybe you're not out seeing your own friends or connecting in the way that you used to. So we thought, what better time to start bringing in some special guests? So we have at least 2 in the books already, and 1 that is going to be interviewed soon. So over the course of June and into July, you'll have these guests to visit with and learn about, and we hope that you really enjoy that.
Yeah, and if it's something that you enjoy, let us know, and we'll try to do more of them. And if you don't like it either, well, I guess let us know that too.
Yeah. And today, we know what you do like. We do like your trends.
Yes.
So we thought this would be super fun. So let's kick it off. Do you have one to throw out there, Anita?
Well, I never was a fan of this one to begin with, but it looks like it's had its day, and that's the terrazzo.
Interesting enough, Amy Azarita, who I just mentioned, she talked about the terrazzo because, she's a style forecaster and whatnot. And when we were talking about what was hot and what was not, she said terrazzo it was just overly saturated, and it's now making its way out. And if somebody does love terrazzo, our suggestion would be to do it in a very small way, like maybe a side table or something like that. And if anybody doesn't know what terrazzo is, Anita, can you describe that? Because I know you had that at one point in a house.
I did. It's like bits of marble mixed in with concrete. And they're our house was built, the other house we had was built in the late 70s. And so all the downstairs that wasn't carpeted was this terrazzo. And so I was sick of it as soon as I bought the house. When we bought it, it was the house was older and it was already pretty dated. But yeah, so bits of marble, and it seems like in some places maybe even bits of shell in this concrete. And I don't know, it just never looked good when we were there, and the grout was a problem, and I don't know, the terrazzo wasn't really. I remember having somebody come over, and I had him look at the shower, because the walls were done in the terrazzo, not just the floor.
Wow, it was everywhere.
Oh, they committed, honey. They committed. And I said, yeah, what would it, let's talk about changing all this. He goes, oh, it's in great shape. It doesn't need to be changed. And I just thought, what? Like, it doesn't really matter what kind of shape it's in. It's not very nice looking. Yeah. But anyway, so again, I had to move.
You had to move, yes.
The house needed to be painted, and that had terrazzo, and I had to move. So, what's
the solution? Moving on. But terrazzo also has a very mid-century modern look, so I'm not surprised that it's kind of wheeling itself out of being a hot trend, because mid-century modern, full on, total commitment, as you say, mid-century modern is also now over. People are not doing that anymore, and we've never stood behind the idea of committing yourself fully to one look. So, you really shouldn't do that. And you might have a regret if you do. But terrazzo, if you have it and you love it, and tap dance on it. Whatever makes you happy, enjoy it. But if you're thinking about that as an option of something to do, maybe think about it again.
Yeah. And then also, it's like you have to keep it sealed and everything. So anyway, that's another hassle on it. Okay, so what's yours?
Well, this one is something we have talked about before too, in different ways. But committing to something that's pretty trendy on a wall treatment, and particularly tile in your bathroom. These bold geometric pattern tiles have been really hot. I think in their actual handmade form, they're called caustic tiles, but that's where I remember reading about it. It's actually, the different kinds of clays are put together, and it's really done beautifully and hand done. But then that look kind of got popularized, and then it sort of whittled its way down to showing up in the shelves in Home Depot, which is fine too. But everybody's now seen them. It's those usually 6x6, 8x8, bigger tiles, maybe black and white. There might be like a swirl or a fleur-de-lis, or there's some sort of geometric shape going on it. And it's a lot. It's just a lot of pattern. And when it first came on, maybe 2-3 years ago, I mean, it looked really fresh and kind of looked really great with the modern farmhouse look or even industrial. It just kind of gave it a little like oomph, where particularly if you're going all neutral and then you have this bathroom with the walls or the floor done like that, it was kind of interesting. But it's just so much that it really is going to date your look. So unless you're absolutely in love with it, or, your family makes these type of tiles, I would, again, to have some caution. Think about it. How am I going to feel about this in 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, and maybe just use it in a little way? I bet you could find a mirror framed out in those tiles. You could even have one made or make one yourself. Use it as a trivet. Maybe put your soap on one. Just use it as an accent if you love it and you have to have it. But to commit to grout and putting it on your wall and forming your bathroom or your shower or your bathroom floor of it, I think that you might regret it.
Oh, right. I saw a house across the street. It's a 100-year-old original craftsman style house, over 100 years old, and they did that in one of the bathrooms when they redid it. And at the time, I thought, oh boy, this looks so 2018. And I thought it looked charming, but I also knew 5 years from now, it's going to be out and it's going to just kind of be a slap in the face every time you walk in the room, because it's so bold and it's on the walls, not just on the floors. And I felt like, if that's what you really want to do, just stick to the floor. Don't put it on the walls in the bathtub. I just thought that was a big mistake. But even like you said, on the floor, you're kind of stuck with it. It's kind of you can tear it up later, but it's not going to be easy. So, it's just not something I would suggest. I mean, really, if we're talking about tiles for a floor or backsplash or whatever, I mean, I really think you're just going to do better going with something more, that's just going to be a classic, that's just going to be around for a long time. And then put your trendy things in that can be changed out. We say that all the time, but it's true. It's just such a good idea.
Gosh, it is. I looked it up because I thought caustic didn't seem right. It's caustic. So ENCAUSTIC.
Oh.
So we'll put that in the show notes if anybody wants to look that up. But I think when you do look it up, you'll say, yeah, I've seen that.
Mm-hmm. You'll recognize it.
Handmade, and then obviously the ones that are just machine made. But I have one because I pulled it out for a client to give, because she was interested in it, and so I got a sample of one, and then I talked her out of it.
In fact, I think we talked a client out of that, one of our online consulting clients out of doing that. I think
we did.
I remember that now. Mm-hmm.
Right. And I must have also talked out a live client here, because I actually brought this tile to someone, and then I thought, oh, it's really pretty and it's black and white, and I like black and white, and so I put some felt on the bottom of it and I use it as a trivet.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Okay. Well, what about this one? Because this came in so hot and heavy, and now it's already had its moment, and that's the rose gold metal. So, I mean, if we're talking about a rose gold tray, that was $20, $30, enjoy it for a few years and then let it go. But, maybe don't buy an expensive lamp made out of that, or just some
end tables. I saw
Yes.
are the lamps, large floor lamps. They were
Right.
doing that because it seemed like whatever. If you were doing brushed nickel or you were doing gold or oil rub bronze, a lot of companies were adding that rose gold, and so tempting. It's pretty.
Oh, sure.
And it looks great with millennial pink and all of that. But I would not put anything that was a big ticket item. I would not choose that finish for it.
So agree. So agree.
In general, fast furniture. Now, we do recommend IKEA sometimes, and sometimes IKEA is great and it can last for a while. But, you know fast furniture when you buy it, or, you think, wow, how am I getting that for that amount of money? It's not a great place to put your money. It's also going to end up in a landfill at some point pretty soon. So you might regret that. So why not save up or thrift it or find something at a consignment store where it's a better piece of furniture if you can. Certainly if it's a little accent piece, hey, we're always talking about, hey, get this little accent piece, get this little end table, something like that at a good price. But I'm talking about foundational furniture. You should try to stay away from the fast, inexpensive, cheaply made furniture if it's something that should last a long time, like a sofa.
Well, and it's so interesting you say that, and I 100% agree with you. But I'm sitting here thinking, where am I seeing solid, well-made wood furniture that is new? And I got to be honest, I'm hardly seeing it anywhere. And when I see it, it's 3 times the price of the other. So, it's really time to look at some vintage pieces here for like chest of drawers or something like that, because the new stuff I know it sounds like an old person, but they really don't make it like they used to. It's just true.
No, they don't, Granny. They don't.
Well, I don't say that about everything, but about this, I think it is the case.
No, I absolutely agree with you. It is hard to find a well-made new piece of furniture that you don't get sticker shock from.
Right.
Particularly because there is so much fast furniture out there.
I think yes. Or it's just pressed together particle board. It's just not wood anymore.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? Like your mind gets that, like, oh, you've seen all these things that are this price. Oh, under $1,000 for, a sofa. Oh, great. And so you kind of get used to that. Your mind is seeing those kinds of numbers. And so, you kind of like get a sense in your mind what something should cost. Well, a really well-made sofa shouldn't cost like $700. It has to cost more than that.
Yeah, of course.
Because the wood has to be dried right and it has to be made and should be if it can be handmade and good springs and the fill has to be right. It's just think of everything that goes into a sofa.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So as we try to stay away from fast fashion, think about fast furniture too. And it's not always going to be possible. And certainly if you've got, a set of twins and an 18-month-old, then have your fast sofa, because at some point, you're going to want to get a new sofa anyway, like I did with my DNA sofa.
Mm-hmm. Stop calling it that. That's really kind of grossing me out every time you say it.
Okay, speaking of sofas, the curvy, the bubble-shaped, the kind of oddly shaped major pieces of furniture. Whether I've seen sofas, I've seen love seats, even larger chairs. I just would stay really far away from all of that because I think that is really going to be a regret.
Yes, I so much agree with you. It's cool, it's interesting, it's new, it's different. But again, this is a big ticket item. If it goes in hard, it's going to go out hard. And you're going to be stuck with this expensive sofa that just looks kind of odd.
Let me just jump back to these bubbly, curvy sofas for a minute, because it's that sort of thing that you could just like thinking in your mind, like, oh, that is going to make the room. Like that is just going to be such a statement piece. But on the flip side, that is what's going to date the room. And in 5 years, you're not going to want that anymore. So I guess, if it's a fast furniture piece, and you're going to love it for 5 years, well, love it to death and sit on it every day because you're going to want it to go away in about that period of time, if not sooner.
Yeah, but that's awfully big thing to have in a landfill. So
modern farmhouse can also be too much of a good thing, right? Because it has to be in the right context. And I think that everybody just went a little overboard with the modern farmhouse look. So that might be something if you did your whole house like that, you're like, oh, Joanna Gaines is like 80. And you're like, wow, I wish I hadn't done that. like, wow, right? Like that's over. But, I don't know, maybe in 5 years, you're going to tire of some of those pieces. So really the key to it all, and which we talk about all the time, is not committing to one specific look and having different eras and different styles that all work beautifully together using your neutral and limited color palette. And I'm throwing out all the DTT buzzwords, but it's so true, right? So, and then a few little things like odd shaped pillows, like there's those knot pillows and the ball pillows and things like that. Like they're just like a little weird. I guess it's fun. It's whimsical, but it's not going to go with every style to start out with. And I'm not seeing them, at a really low price point. In fact, I think they're probably too expensive for what they are. So I would stay away from everything like that. If you want to maybe get a fun pillow cover that is a normal, regular shape that you can use again, then definitely, we talk about that all the time, is updating with pillows, but I wouldn't get any sort of those like odd shaped pillows. I don't like those.
Right. And, I'm just thinking about something else that I almost did, and now I'm really glad I didn't, and that is the open shelves for the kitchen instead of the cabinets. And I don't think it's bad to have it a little bit of that, but a whole wall of that I think might be too much, because there's so much you have to store in the kitchen that really isn't that pretty to look at. And so it really does make sense to have closed cabinets if you need a lot of storage. So, but that was very, very hot a few years ago. And we were getting ready to do some work at, our mountain house that we rent out. And we haven't gotten to it yet. And now I'm thinking, I think my ideas of what we're doing there change every year. And so who knows what it's going to end up being by the time we actually get to it.
Well, it's not going to be any of these possible regrettable items.
I hope not.
Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor. And I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. We're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free, that's right, a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So another thing that we should talk about is large wallpaper pattern. I am drawn to some very large patterns, but I am taking pause, and I think that you should too, because large patterns might not float your boat in 4 or 5 years, and then it's up there. Now, if you approach it like, hey, I enjoyed it for a period of time, I'll just have it taken off and I'll repaint or I'll do it myself. It is a lot easier to take wallpaper off now than it was before with the different pastes and whatnot.
Especially if you get the removable kind.
Right. If you have the removable, it's like a no-brainer. But, it's still time and effort and money to get it done. So I would think long and hard before I did that. But it can be just spectacular in a room.
Yes. And I would add to that most wallpaper is specific to a particular time, and most wallpaper, as much as I love wallpaper, if you really want something classic that's going to stand the test of time, most wallpaper will look dated down the road.
Yeah, because think of it now. Oh, wallpaper's back. But, if you had a wallpaper from like Waverly that was from 1989 or something like that, that wouldn't look cool now. It's back, but it's back different,
right? So
that it was before.
Think of like a pattern on fabric. The simpler the fabric pattern, the longer it's going to be in style. So like a stripe is kind of more of a classic, but even wallpaper, striped wallpaper, depending on what colors are there, they can still look dated. So, but anyway, those are my thoughts there. So maybe what we need is some wallpaper that is paint by number.
Oh my, stop. That's a great idea. Maybe we have to do that. That would keep everybody really busy.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I'd like to go out and see you, but I'm still doing my paint by number.
Sorry, I can't have anyone over. I'm still painting my wallpaper.
Yeah.
Do you have any more?
I have one more. We talked about this style in an episode not too long ago, so we can link that. And the style is Grand Millennial. I think it is such a fun style. And it's really, I don't know if it's since we did our episode, Anita, but I don't know if you've noticed, but it's totally taken off. Like I think House Beautiful did an article about it.
Are we already saying it's going out?
No, it's not going out. But, House Beautiful did an article about it after we did our episode and whatnot. And it's really hot now. But it's a very over-the-top style. And it's kind of whimsical. And so I think if you embrace that too hard, you might regret that. There is a lot of classic elements to it, but there's so much color and there's a lot of whimsy. And so I would just say be careful. And you can do it and enjoy it. And I think it is a really fun style to have. But maybe make sure that the foundational pieces that you have are more of the traditional ones. So then if you want to pull back on it in 4 years or 5 years, you can do that. And you still got this great foundation of really solid, beautiful furnishings and sofas and even more expensive accessories.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's good advice, Kelly. I think.
Okay, so what's our hot topic?
Okay, this is, the title is The End of Pier 1 Home Improvement App Store and More. And this is a very long article. As always, we will include a link to the article that we're talking about. And I'm just going to give you the highlights. I'm just going to tell you kind of some of the key points, and then you can kind of comment with your thoughts. The first point is that Pier 1 is closing all of their stores. You probably already knew that. IKEA, this was news to me, is looking to convert old post offices and department stores to IKEA stores. JCPenney just filed for Chapter 11, and they announced they are closing over 240 stores. Wayfair and Overstock are having an increase in sales. That makes sense because they're online. And the last point was that Schumacher has announced its second collection with Williams-Sonoma for tabletop, linens, pillows, and other home accessories. And anyway, I'm excited about that. So there you have it. What do you think, Kelly?
Well, I think I better use my Pier 1 gift card that I have a little bit left on.
Yeah, I would.
I returned something there and I don't even remember what it was. And I kept chipping away at this gift card. Now I just wish I had bought more battery operated candles or something because
there's going to be run. It's going to be run.
I don't really shop there. And so I'd be like, okay, what can I go get and use this gift card for? So there's that. I did hear, and I didn't read it in this article, but on the JCPenney note, I did hear that Amazon was looking to partner with JCPenney.
Oh, interesting.
But here, listen to what it's for. Fashion, particularly fast fashion.
Oh, no.
Number one, I don't really think of JCPenney as fashion forward. And the world does not need more fast fashion. So that's kind of yucky. So I hope that doesn't happen. I'm sorry if JCPenney goes to the wayside, but they had a long run. Make room for somebody else.
Kind of brutal there. Ouch. That was my mother-in-law's favorite store was JCPenney.
Oh, I remember going to JCPenney with my mom all the time. And, it was like all the big department stores, that range, the Macy's, Gimbals, even that sort of thing. You could get everything.
Right.
I mean, not as much as you get at Sears, which
my dad, we only shopped at Sears because they had better appliances.
You get a lawnmower and some perfume.
Yes.
Okay, my last thought on the article is I don't think I like the Schumacher pairing.
Oh, okay. I didn't look real closely at it, but it kind of looked.
It looked a little 70s to me.
Did it? That's the thing.
I know, but it's not my thing. But Schumacher, I love.
Yes,
It's a fabric house. Just my favorite fabric of all time, the Pine Hollyhock, is a Schumacher fabric. So if they would do things with them in that, I would like that.
Yeah, I have to look at this again. But I remember looking at it, thinking I thought it was pretty.
But this is good, these pairings, right? So Williams-Sonoma is probably not going anywhere, and their business is probably ticked up with, you can buy food from them, and you can buy lots of different things, obviously kitchen related, but all sorts of things for them. So, who knows how Schumacher's doing, and we don't want them to go away.
I mean,
they're great.
They're fun. I mean, I don't know this is exactly what I would have, but I think they've got some interesting, fun patterns here. And, Williams-Sonoma also, I don't know if you know this, I love my Fortnum & Mason things. And did you know you can buy Fortnum & Mason teas and a few other products at Williams-Sonoma? Did you know that?
I did know that.
Oh, you already knew that. Of course you did.
Well, because I do send Williams-Sonoma food gifts almost every year at Christmas.
Okay.
And so I've been on that part of their website enough to see that. Yeah. No, that is good.
But you can buy directly from Fortnum & Mason for a lot cheaper. You just have to pay a $25 shipping fee. But it actually more than makes up for it if you buy, just a few things.
Mm-hmm.
So there.
Okay, so my crush today is Makita. I'm moving on. These are really pretty. You know how we like those? Well, it's botanical, but we also like those kind of German science type of posters, if you will, or wall hangings that might have been in a classroom.
Yes.
Okay, so this item, it's two pieces. They kind of straddle both worlds. They're fairly large, I think 20 by 16, and one's black with ecru writing and the other one is ecru with black writing. And they kind of have that sense of that sort of German look that I'm talking about, but they also have a botanical sense to them because one is about herbs and one is about vegetables or vegetable gardens. And they're framed, and for two of them, it's $19.99.
Oh, wow. That's a great price.
That's a great deal, right? They're really good looking. I can't vouch for the frame. I haven't seen them, but I stumbled upon them somewhere and I thought that could be really pretty. Maybe in the kitchen or even a laundry room, or if you had some sort of enclosed potting area, it could be such a nice addition. And the black and white just really makes them look a lot more expensive than they are.
Oh, how fun. Oh, I can't wait to see the link to these.
What's yours?
Well, I have been doing a lot of cooking, and I was looking for something just to cheer me up, when we were kind of stuck at home. So to serve my soup in, so I found these really pretty French-looking bowls at Sur La Table, and they're kind of footed bowls, and they have the lion heads on either side. They're all white, but you probably know what I'm talking about. You've probably seen them.
Yeah, that's so pretty. Yeah,
they're gorgeous.
Classic.
And they really were not that expensive. So that was something I ordered when we couldn't leave the house, and it was just such a happy day when those came. And then of course we use them for soup. In fact, we used them for lunch today, and it just made me smile having my soup in them, and they really were not that expensive.
Oh, good. Mm-hmm. That sounds nice. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. BritBox just keeps getting better. The new Archie is amazing. And it's not the comics. It's about Cary Grant. Archie is the brand new limited series starring Jason Isaacs as Archie Leach, the man who became Cary Grant. From the award-winning screenwriter of Philomena, Archie tells Grant's born in Britain, made in Hollywood story, the dramatic grit to glamour transformation that led him to become one of the most famous people in the world. You are going to absolutely love the acting, but also the styling, the outfits, the scenery. It's the first time his story has been told in collaboration with his daughter Jennifer Grant and ex-wife Diane Cannon. The performances from Jason Isaacs and the rest of the cast are amazing, and it's only available on BritBox. So sign up for BritBox today to stream Archie and other fan favorites from any device. And we have a special limited time offer for our U.S. and Canadian listeners. Get 50% off. Yes, that's 50% off your first month when you sign up for a monthly plan. But only if you go to BritBox.com and use our promotion code DTT at checkout. You're going to love Archie. So head over right now and get 50% off your first month of BritBox. Use the promotion code DTT at BritBox.com. Our question is a little different than we normally get. This came through as a direct message to me on my Instagram. And I thought, since Anita is much more of a master of Instagram than I am, that we both should ring in on this. So our listener, Julia, is asking about creating your Instagram gallery. You know, everybody calls different names for it, and people are now calling them your tiles or your gallery,
or your grid,
your grid, what have you. So, but basically your gallery of photos that you choose to put in your Instagram. Julia is really enjoying decorating her house, and she's getting lots of great tips from Decorating Tips and Tricks. And she, in not too long ago, I should say, started her Instagram account. And she really is enjoying it as a creative expression of the things that she's doing in her house. So snapping photos here and there and whatnot. But she, not to gain more followers or what have you, just for herself, is sort of having a collection. She wants it to look beautiful when she looks at it. So she's asking for a tip from each of us on how to do that.
And so I would say probably the key is actually a key to decorating your house is the limited color palette. If you're looking at all of those tiles at the same time and there's jarring differences like pastels in one corner and then another place it's strong red and black and then another place it's green, then it may look a little kind of confused and a little busy. Whereas if you stick to just certain colors, it's going to look more cohesive is one thing I would say. Another thing is if you have some pictures, if you're wanting it to look the most beautiful it can, if you have some pictures on there that you don't like, you can go in and delete those. And people with big accounts do that all of the time. So that's certainly something that you can do. And then again, just kind of, work on your photography too. Do some styling when you take your photos so that they are, the best they can be. And those are my thoughts. How about yours, Kelly?
I would adopt all those tips. They're excellent. One other that I might add is have a shot from far away and then maybe do a close-up the next one. Mm-hmm. And then maybe a shot from far away. So it's interesting. So people on Instagram tend to really like to look at rooms.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
but
they
I
do.
think when you look at a whole gallery and a lot of it is from far away, so you're seeing a lot of things in the rooms or in the space because it's a tiny little picture. And if it's from far away, you're seeing the sofa and the lamp and the stool or the plant and all of the things. Sometimes I think it's just like it's a rest for your eye to see something that's close up. So that's how I like to break mine up. And I really do. I mean, I love Instagram. I derive a lot of pleasure of just sort of putting the pictures and making sure they sort of all flow together, as Anita mentioned. It's fun to do. It's another creative outlet. And I think that's the way Julia's looking at it. So I think what Anita said is, a bunch of perfect tips. My only addition was maybe to vary the depth of how far you are away from the item that you're photographing.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip. And that's nice to have some close-ups and some.
And you didn't give us your account, Julia. So if you want to, you can send it over because I guess this was from a personal account and then she has another account that is of her home. And I don't know what that is. So if you want to send that, I'd love to take a look. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us today. I hope you had fun. We love talking about trends with you. And remember, we are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time. I want to remind you that we are available for design consults. We take on your design dilemmas, questions, renovations, any project you want to talk about, any room, any space. We are here for you. And we really do enjoy doing these. And I think we've helped people a lot. So if you want to sign up for a consult, head to the link in the show notes. It's decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. We hope to talk to you soon.